Last night, not exactly how NC State fans envisioned it, did they? But it's not all bad. It's not all bad. And I want to emphasize that because there is a instinct to say, hey, Western Carolina gave us a game. There's no way Tennessee is going to not blow us out. That's double negative, but you got what I'm saying. What I'm getting at here is there's still the bones of a very, very good team on NC State. And you saw some of those bones yesterday. The issue was it just didn't come together. And they are racing against the clock to come together now. It wasn't all bad. Dave Doran, head coach, spoke to the media after the game. Obviously, they wanted to play better.
Great to be 1-0 and really proud of how we finished. Obviously, game we would love to have played better in the first half, but I'm not going to apologize for winning either. I think Western Carolina played a hard-fought game. I thought defensively we didn't tackle well in the first half. Gave up some third downs that we usually don't. Offensively, didn't convert on some drives. Went forward on fourth down twice and didn't get it. And so there was some frustration there. We came in 14-14 and really love how we responded. I thought third quarter, even though there wasn't a lot of points, we had the ball for 8 minutes on the opening drive, got a field goal, took a lead.
Let's start with the defense. Defense did not look dominant against Western Carolina. Jihad Carter, the expected starting nickelback, didn't play. They said that in the interest of making sure he's 100% for Tennessee. Caden Fordham was ejected less than 3 minutes into the game for targeting a player that you expected to play a whole bunch of snaps at the linebacker position. Those would be reasons why maybe they didn't look great.
And I know we're sitting here talking about this game completely different. Let's say Fordham grabs that ball that was thrown on the very first play of the game and runs into the end zone for a pick six. And then maybe even on the first play of the second drive, back-to-back attempts where he could have had 7 points just like that.
I'm leery of changing plays because, I one of my pet peeves, and once you're kind of on the record with this, you can't go against it. I hate when coaches say after like a 14-point loss, hey, we were 4 plays away from winning that game. I'm like, yeah, but you can't go back and change those 4 plays. Hey, we didn't give up those 3 long touchdown passes. Our defense played pretty good. It's like, well, your defense didn't play pretty good. Overall, the defense was trying to replace Peyton Wilson. They were up against I'm not going to knock Western Carolina's overall talent, but at least it's unfamiliar offense, not a team that they're used to. And there were a couple lapses in tackling or lapse in assignment. On the offensive side, they sputtered at times. I would say Grayson McCall, even though he threw for 300-plus yards, underwhelmed. Missed some shots that I think he should have been able to make at least completions easily. If he put it on the money, probably could have been touchdowns. Dave Doran on Grayson McCall's overall performance.
Yeah, I do. I think you hit it on the head, and I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. There were some balls that, if he would have put a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, would have been completions and some of them potentially big gains. But he played a good football game. Kept drives alive, used his feet, protected the football, had the one pick early. And after that, I thought he settled in and played a good football game. But I know he's going to watch it, and his accuracy is one of his strengths. And so that'll be something that he'll continue to improve.
Here's the thing with Grayson McCall, and I said this before the break. He's going to watch the film today. Probably 2 or 3 times. Once with the coach and quarterbacks, maybe once by himself. And he's going to see some things that he really doesn't like. That interception, I think there was either a wrong route or a bad route. I could explain why, but that just take me way too long.
Either way, double coverage.
And I don't even think it was double coverage. I think that the receivers were too close together, so one defensive back could kind of guard
spy
both,
a little bit,
right?
Okay.
He didn't have to make a decision between do I go with this guy or try to bait you into a throw to this guy. I think it was either a bad route or a wrong route. That's just the inference. That's just from me watching. But the quarterback is the one that avoids the catastrophe, right? As soon as you see the colored jersey, as soon as Get off it, get to your next read. He threw it. Even if Casey Concepcion makes that catch, I believe it was Casey running the little out route, even if he makes that catch, he's getting his head taken off by the guy that made the interception. So it wasn't a good play, it wasn't a good design. He's going to want that back. Grayson McCall's not going to love watching that one. There were throws. I know there's at least one deep ball across the middle where Casey Concepcion was open, and Grayson McCall had to drive it, meaning throw a harder pass, less air on it, and instead he put a lot of touch on it, which gave the safety time to get back into the mix, ended up being incomplete. Should have really stepped on it and showed off the gun. Like, there's going to be a lot of that. But I'll tell you what Grayson McCall will absolutely love watching the film. How good his wide receivers are. We talk about having the bones of a good team. NC State has playmakers.
Yeah.
Casey Concepcion had 3 touchdowns. A couple of them were highlights. Like, the dude is legit. He's looking more and more like he's going to be a top half of the first-round pick whenever he's eligible. He can't even go pro after this year. He has to stay in college another year.
He looked stronger to me, too, last night.
Running through tackles, dude's a beast. Noah Rogers made a couple of the first catch of the game was a toe tap on the sideline. He caught one on a downfield ball where the ball was way behind him, slammed on the brakes, leaning backwards, made the catch. Just unbelievable body control. Wesley Grimes on the sideline had, I don't even know what it was, like a 35-yard back shoulder throw, and he jumped way too early but used his body control to catch it and keep his feet in bounds. That's 3 wide receivers that made big-time plays. Mix in, I think it was Anderson, the freshman, made a couple plays. Mix in Justin Jolie, a tight end that got the ball in his hands and was making dudes miss.
Collins, too.
Dakari Collins. You could throw in Keenan Jackson, was even open on a deep ball that was missed by Grayson Allen. The wide receivers look fantastic. The pass catchers, right, because I threw in Justin Jolie. Fantastic.
And I think the running back room is still very good. Now, I want to get your thoughts because at times it felt like Jordan Waters, when he was going left to or east to west on a couple of runs, I feel like he would have been better off just hitting the hole right up the middle.
This is my 10-cent psychiatrist look at Jordan Waters last night. I think he's somebody you got to get mad. I think early in the game he was having a good time trying to be Barry Sanders in the open field, make dudes miss. By the end of the game, I think he was a little upset. Maybe the fumble upset him. Maybe the lack of success in the run game upset him. There was a point where he was like, I'm going to stop with the moving and shaking, and I'm just going to run through arm tackles. I might, if I were a leader on this team, right, and I had his utmost trust and confidence, he might be one of the dudes that I would walk up to after a 3 and out and go, come on, man, that's on you. That's all you got to say, right? Watch his eyebrows furrow, and suddenly it's like, good. Now we got Jordan Waters who recognizes he's 220 pounds and strong, rather than the Jordan Waters that thinks he's Devon Achane out there and he's going to try to wiggle to the sideline and get up. Like, just run through everybody. Once you see open green grass, then you turn on the Jets. Here's everything that I'm saying about this offense. There's really one thing they have to do better. It's a big thing, but it's one thing. It's get the ball to the playmakers' hands better. That means protect Grayson McCall, and that means Grayson McCall has to deliver with accuracy. If you think NC State can do that, this season is still very much in the same ballpark of where we thought it was preseason. If you think they can't do that, this is going to be a wildly frustrating season. You can make that decision. I'm choosing to believe that the guy who has played 5 years in college football and completed 70% of his passes over those 5 years is probably going to be able to throw a high completion percentage this season. And once he does that, that's 70% of the time these playmakers will have the ball in space. Offensive line, lock it in.
Yeah.
Lock it in. And maybe they thought they were going to bully Western Carolina, and Western Carolina showed up a little bit more stocky than NC State was believing. I'll tell you right now, you better gear up for a much more physical game next week against Tennessee, and you better give Grayson McCall time to find those guys downfield.
I know coming to the game last night, you and I had kind of been joking around saying that it was the tune-up game. Well, after you took the car to the shop, you realized that you may have had the check engine light on. Need some air in the tires a little bit. You got a big road trip coming up to Charlotte next weekend. You want to make sure that your radiator, transmission, engine is all gassed up, because
if you don't fix it, Tennessee will show you where it's not fixed.
Yeah,
that's pretty much for certain. Luckily, you played on a Thursday, so you have a couple extra days to fix it.